This video is for those of you who are thinking about RVing or are new to RVing. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun doing this, but one of the questions that gets asked all over the internet, and some people have good replies and some people not so good, is, where do you guys go to RV for free? And I'll be honest with you, I've looked around at some of these campgrounds, and it costs more to stay at a campground on a slab of concrete with hookups than it does to stay in a pretty nice, above average hotel with free, excuse me, with free breakfast. So, yeah, the price of campgrounds is just getting ridiculous. And with the 10-year rule, some of those of you with older rigs just not even going to be able to get in. But did you know that there are millions of acres of public land in the United States where you wake up to an incredible view and you pay exactly zero, nothing, nada. So today I'm going to explain to you the 4 different kinds of public ground where you can park your RV or your rig for free. And what we're going to explore and tell you what's different and what's similar are BLM land. Everybody knows about that. Bureau of Land Management land. The Army Corps of Engineers are sometimes known just as a corps, or the Corps of Engineer. U.S. Forestry Service, not too many people check into those, but boy, they got some beautiful land. And last, State Trust Land. Some of you may not have even heard of this one. Some of you have even been around a while, but State Trust Land. And each of these is similar, but a little bit different, with different rules, different vibes, different locations. And by the end of this video, you'll know the pros and cons of each and how to use them. All right, so stay with me, and I'll show you all these different kinds of choices that you have for free places to stay with your rig. Okay, the first one is called BLM, the Bureau of, the Bureau of Land Management. And they have roughly 245 million acres across this country. So, looking for a place to free RV and you say you can't find any, and you've got 245 million acres, it's kind of difficult. But the problem with BLM land is it's mostly in the western United States. Think Utah, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. And if you've seen the pictures on the internet and on YouTube about with all these people parked in the Red Rock or out in the desert, yep, that's probably BLM land. And it's usually a big chunk of desert, and there's no designated parking places. You just go out and you find a place you want to park, and as long as it's off the road, you can park there. So there's no camp host, just you and nature. Now, the main rule around BLM land is there's a 14-day stay limit. You can camp for one spot up to 14 days within a 28-day period, and then you've got to move, and you've got to move at least 25 miles away, and then you can park there. But there is a little catch that I'm using here in the Provo area. So if you stay to the end, I'll tell you what it is. It's pretty cool. So you can't just move over the hill. You got to, or to a new, just down the way a little bit. It's got to be 25 miles. So how do you find BLM land? Just go check out the BLM website. Now, the next one is the Army Corps of Engineers. It is an incredible resource. Now, the Army Corps of Engineers, they built lakes, dams. So it's going to be, these campsites are going to be near water, generally. And they're going to be trees. It's going to be all kinds of not desert. And you'll find the Army Corps of Engineers sites in 34 states. And they have campgrounds right there on the water. But now here's something, they're not all free. Some do charge a fee, usually in the $20, $30, maybe $40 per night. But if you're like me and you have a senior pass or access pass for federal government, you get half price everywhere. So a $30 site is $15, a $20 site is $10, and so lakefront for $10 a night with hookup sometimes, which is pretty cool. And the stay limit once again is 14 days within a 30-day period. And the difference here with Army Corps of Engineers, it's per site or per reservoir, per lake. So if you're camping at a lake and you really like it, or a reservoir, you can't just move 25 miles down the road if you're still around the same lake. You have to move to a different lake, reservoir, or site. So it's 14 days within a 30-day period within that site. And the other thing is that campgrounds in the Corps of Engineers are designated. So they actually have site numbers with dump stations. A lot of them have dump stations, the whole 9 yards. And it's pretty cool. You can find where these are through recreation.gov. And, I bet you a lot of you out there haven't checked into the Corps of Engineers, but it's also an opportunity for you to look at. Now, the third one is the U.S. Forestry Service land, or National Forest land. There are 152 national forests spread across almost every state in the U.S. They cover about 193 million acres. This is where you can camp out in the mountains, where you're under the pine trees and all of that. Similar to BLM land, most forest land is dispersed. I mean, you got to carry out what you brought in, and you have designated sites. Once again, the stay limit is 14 days, but sometimes they're even shorter, and sometimes they're even more lenient. So they have their own rules, and they're a little bit different from state to state. And one of the biggest things with national forest from like BLM lands, where you have 14 days, it's same in the national forest, but you can't just move 25 miles away. In many of the national forests, you have to stay out of the entire national forest for the remainder of the 30-day period. So if you're in like the Cleveland National Forest and you've been there for 14 days, you can't just move to the other end of the Cleveland National Forest, which might be, 50 miles away, but nope, you got to be completely out of the Cleveland National Forest. So, and the other thing with this one is that sometimes in the national forest, the roads are pretty rough. They get pitted, and you might want to check ahead of time. Now, the last one, and this is one that most of you, and I hadn't heard of it for a long time, is state trust land. And it is incredible. Here's a quick history lesson. Don't worry, I'll keep it short. When Western states joined the United States, the federal government granted them large chunks of land to manage. The idea was to generate revenue for things like public schools. These are called state trust lands. There are 16 states that still manage trust lands today, and some of them allow camping, sometimes totally free, sometimes for a small annual permit. The catch with state trust lands is that the rules differ greatly from state to state. And some are free, some have to buy a permit. It's just something you got to check, but you have to look up the state's rules for their trust lands before you do anything. But the upside of state trust lands, nobody knows about them. So there are going to be a lot less people there, a lot less crowds. This is the ticket if you want solitude. And here's a quick little chart that puts it all together and gives you a quick overview of the different kinds, the 4 main kinds of free camping. Enjoy. So that's it. It's a crash course in camping on public land, BLM, Corps of Engineers, National Forest, and State Trust land. 4 incredible options are available to you as an American citizen and taxpayer. Remember, this is your land. If this video helped at all, you know, gosh, you're doing it already. You're hitting that like button and you're subscribing and you're doing so many wonderful things for me now. How I kind of sort of game the system. I'm here right now near Provo on BLM land. To move 25 miles, the next BLM land is actually kind of far away. So I'd have to move more than 25 miles. But 3 miles down the road, there's some state trust land that I can be on for 15, 16 days at a time. And I checked with the local rangers here, the BLM rangers, and they're like, hey, you know, as long as you're not on BLM land within 25 miles in the next, 14, 15 days, you're fine. So I can move down the road 3 miles and get on this trust land and stay there for 15 days. And then I'll be able to come back to this BLM land and stay here for 14 days and go back and forth and not break any of the rules. And I just have a 3-mile difference. So this is how I manage to, I think I'm going to manage to stay here over the summer and not break the rules and not have to go hunting all over the place. Because for me, one of the showstoppers for this summer is the price of gas. My rig gets 6 miles to the gallon. It's a big one. It's got the, when I bought it, they were like, yeah, you'll be able to pull an army tank with this thing, but I'm not pulling anything, and I wish I got better gas mileage, but that's just the way it rolls. And gas with what it is, I'm having to find these 2 places, and it's working for me. And once again, hopefully this information helped. And as long as you keep watching, I'll keep posting. Thank you very much.